In this episode, I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman. This book is great, and it can be great for teachers, parents, students, psychologists, and it's fair to say for everyone. So, what is in this book? First of all, Daniel Goleman talks about emotional intelligence and what is it? It has 5 ingredients: RULER. Ruler. R stands for recognition of emotions. I know what I'm feeling. U stands for understanding emotions. What is the nature of an emotion? L stands for labeling emotions. Can I label my emotions correctly or not? Sometimes we mistake, for example, anxiety for stress or anxiety for fear. They are different. And E stands for expressing emotions. And R stands for regulating emotions. So we have ruler. On the other hand, we can define emotional intelligence in this way. We can say it has 4 ingredients: self-control, zeal and persistence, the ability to motivate yourself, and empathy. So there are two kinds of emotional intelligence. There are two different ways looking at this phenomena. The important point is that don't evaluate behavior without factoring underneath emotions in. For example, you are a teacher and your student is doing something crazy and he or she is driving you crazy. Don't judge the behavior alone. You should consider what is beneath this behavior, what emotions are driving this behavior. The other point is personality traits don't have a strong correlation with emotional intelligence. No matter you're introverted or extroverted, it doesn't matter. And some people say the introverted are much more emotionally intelligent, but that's not the case. You can be introverted or extroverted, and in both cases, emotionally literate. And the other point in this book is about text messaging. We know that we live in a new era, in a technology era, and text messaging reduces EQ. So when you use stickers, when you use emojis, you just try to show your emotions in a non-specific way. If you discuss some emojis, people differ, and some emoji for a person could be like shame, and for another person it could be like fear or anxiety. If you are interested in helping others, if others' emotions matter to you, you should have at least 3 components. The first is non-judgment. It's very important. If you are judgmental, nobody would trust you. Nobody would talk to you, open up to you. The second is empathy. I know few psychologists that they do psychology for the sake of money. They don't have true, real empathy. That's a big touch. And the third is active listening. When you are listening to others, sometimes your mind is wandering and your mind is judging and your mind is looking for another answer, another response. It's not active. Active means you are engaged in this conversation as though there is millions of dollars in it for you.
فقط چند لحظه به من گوش کن هر احساسی و غیر من تو جهان واسه چند لحظه فراموش کن.
We have mood meter. You can recognize your emotions better with this tool. For example, if your energy is high and your pleasantness is high, you could be yellow, optimist, excited, delighted. And on the other hand, if your energy and pleasantness is down, you could be disappointed, sad, down. You could be energetic but unpleasant. It's like anger, anxiety. You could be pleasant without much energy, like calmness, peacefulness, relaxed, content. So, mood meter is very useful in working with children. If you teach your child how to recognize your emotions based upon this mood meter, it's a great tool. Daniel Goleman talks about some emotions and tries to differentiate between some close or some similar emotions. For example, he talks about kinds of envy. If we are envious and we have hate, our emotion is resentment. But if we are envious without hate, we can feel something like innovation, inspiration, or ambition. He talks about anger and biology of anger, psychology of anger. For example, when we are angry, blood flows into your hands to fight. But if the blood flows into your legs, for example, you are probably feeling fear because blood is in your legs and you are ready to jump or to run, to flight. And we have surprise. The reason we raise our eyebrows is that we try to get more light and more information because we are interested. Whenever we are interested, we open our eyes. Anger is the most difficult emotion to tackle. It's very difficult when it occurs. It's like a fire. It's more powerful and more potent than fear. And he believes that catharsis doesn't work for anger. Some people say, okay, I go out, I shout, I fight to get rid of my anger. But Daniel Goleman believes that anger is very resistant to catharsis. He talks about aspects of empathy. There are three aspects of empathy. The first is cognitive. I know what you feel. The second is emotional. I know how does it feel. And the third is compassionate. I want to be supportive and step forward to lend a hand. Few people are compassionate. It's very important to teach children from the very early stage of life to be compassionate. And in this book, we have two different parts of our brain, hippocampus and amygdala. Hippocampus is responsible for information. For example, I recognize you, I remember something. And amygdala is responsible for emotion. So I know that this person, this guy is my cousin. It's related to hippocampus. And he sounds fishy. And this fishiness comes from amygdala. So without amygdala, we can know lots of things without any emotion, without any preference. Amygdala is active much earlier before language. We can have emotions without language. That's why emotions are much more deeper and much more powerful. He talks about the Stanford experiment with 4-year-old children, known for marshmallow experiment, related to delayed gratification. It's about how long you can delay your gratification, how long you can delay the pleasure. And the more powerful or skillful you are in delayed gratification, the more probable you are going to be successful in life. And it's not related to IQ, okay? Delayed gratification is much more important than IQ. He emphasizes on flow experience. What is flow experience? It's like when you are doing something not too difficult and not too easy, a little bit more difficult than your ability. We go into a state of flow experience. It's like we don't understand how time is passing. Daniel Goleman believes that we should use flow experience as the best reward for ourselves and others. Just think of it. If you can put the children in the state of flow and she or he enjoys this state doing that task, you won't need any external reward, and the child would do this task again and again, internally motivated. It's a great point for teachers. In this book, we read that women are better at reading non-verbal messages. I think it goes without saying that women are much better. He talks about early stage of marital collapse. The first sign is harsh criticism. When you criticize somebody, not his or her behavior, it means that your marriage is in danger. He talks about group intelligence. And the great point is that group intelligence is not the average IQ of the members. It's much more related to their EQs. So you can have lots of intelligent people as a group not working well. Just think of those great football teams that had many nice football players, but they were not doing well. It's about EQ, not IQ. He discusses PTSD, and he believes that retelling the trauma with every detail, it means taste, emotions, sounds, textures, everything, can bring the experience under the control of prefrontal cortex. What does it mean? It means that the more you remember that trauma, no matter what, the more control you can have over that trauma, over that memory. Some people say, don't talk about it. Just sweep it under the rug, under the carpet. But Daniel Goleman believes that no, you should recall it again and again. And finally, he talks about school bully. He believes that these guys are very weak at EQ, those 5 ingredients, RULER, and they can't recognize their feelings. They are kind of dazzled, confused, and they can't stand with negative emotions. One of the most important and critical issues with bullies is that whenever something negative happens to them, they are kind of agitated. They can't watch their emotions. They didn't learn any alternative response. The only response they learned is anger or violence. We should teach them how to control, how to observe, how to manage, how to manifest their emotions. The final takeaway is that punishment doesn't teach them anything. Punishing a bully deteriorates everything. And this takeaway is for children and for parents and for teachers. Punishment never works. I hope you enjoyed this short video about this great book. I didn't have time to go into more details. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to my channel. Your like and comments can make this channel grow. Thank you.